it's Jackleen. I'm here to talk to you about the Virgo new moon. This is the Virgo new moon that happens on August 22nd at 11:07 p.m. Pacific. It's a 0 degrees Virgo new moon. And it is the new moon that precedes an eclipse cycle that includes another new moon, a solar eclipse in Virgo as well. So this is the 0 degree Virgo new moon, and the eclipse in 2 moon circles, the solar eclipse will be at 29 degrees Virgo. So I have to just kind of back up and talk about one of my favorite things to talk about. There are no cusps. Okay, so someone might come to me and say, I don't know if I'm a Gemini or a Cancer because I was born, right on the cusp. And that's one of my little pet peeves, because there's no cusp. The 0 degree and the 29th degree, the 2 degrees of Virgo that we're having this new moon and the solar eclipse in another month, are going to be at the 0 and 29th, the first and last degrees, which are very purely that sign. The reason why people born sandwiched between 2 signs think, oh, I'm a cusp baby, or I'm on the cusp of this sun, or even that moon and this. No, it's because the personal planets usually travel around the sun, like Mercury, Venus, in some instances Mars. So you may have a little bit of some of the personality traits of the other sign because some of your personal planets are there. But if you're a 0 degree or 29th degree Virgo or any other sign, you are very strongly that sign. My late friend Carolyn Precourt, who was one of my first astrology teachers, used to call that 29th degree the degree of tears. And it doesn't necessarily mean literal tears, although it can, and it definitely has. I've definitely experienced that. But it means a really serious degree of that sign, and oftentimes a degree that others just don't understand. So if you're born at the 29th degree of something, you may have this nobody understands me complex, right? So that's what we're traveling toward. But in order to get there, we have to start with this new moon, which is in Virgo at 0 degrees, very pure Virgo. So first of all, what a new moon is, right? The sun and moon are cozied up. They're right next to each other. They're in agreement. You can say the head and the heart are in agreement when we have a new moon, whereas with a full moon, they are opposed to each other, and there's often a lot of tension, right? There's a lot of mythology and lore about the full moon and werewolves and all kinds of things that happen. The emergency rooms are full and all that around the full moon. But the new moon is more harmonious. It's new beginnings, right? And this is a new beginning at the 0 degree of Virgo, the first degree of Virgo. And this particular one, well, let's talk about what Virgo is about. Virgo is, we all know, right? Nitpicky, clean freak, worrier. I have a Virgo moon, and I can attest to most of those. And being your moon, basically, if you want to be your true self, you inhabit your moon sign, right? And it's not easy. It really isn't easy to be your true self, because there's something that your true self wants of you that maybe your life has not given you, right? For me, I grew up with a hoarder mother, and so I never really learned to clean and organize and do these Virgoic things, right? And so we all have challenges hidden inside our moon sign, because that's what we're here to be. Virgo is a sign of service, right? It's under the planet of Mercury, which is communications. And it's the quieter side of communications, because Gemini is also ruled by Mercury. But that's like, Gemini is like you're in the sauna, you're on your phone, you're listening to music, you're doing 3 or 4 different things at once, you're socializing, you're posting on social media, you're texting one person and talking to another, right? So that's Gemini. Virgo is the quieter expression of that. That's the writer. Not that Gemini can't write or do writing related and communicated stuff, but it's the writer. It's even more importantly the revisionist, right? The editor. It's the person that goes in and takes care of the details, because detail work is another aspect of Virgo. So we will during this Virgo time period, and especially when the moon is in Virgo, we can have a little bit more concentration and ability to do those things that we've been putting off for a while. So that's, I always tell people, it's a good time to do things that you've been putting off, practical tasks. Virgo is practical. I always tell the story about my client who came in and said, I'm double Virgo, which is, and her friend said, what did she say? Oh, that's like being beige twice. And I I completely identify with that sometimes, because sometimes you do feel very beige. You feel like you're the only one following the rules, or you're the one that's being responsible. I'm also Capricorn sun, so there's a little bit of that too, right? It's double Earth, so it's like kind of beige and brown at the same time. But I tell that story a lot too. Virgo is service, devotion. What are you devoted to? So I'm going to talk about the 5 or so things that you should do around this new moon. And number 1 is ask yourself what you're devoted to. What is your big why, your big reason for being here? What causes do you support? What kind of humanitarian work do you want to do? That's all under the domain of Virgo. So if you want to work at the food bank or volunteer or do something that's kind of more in the humanitarian spirit, that's service, that's Virgo. You could have a service job. Most jobs are service. All work is service work, basically. And to really kind of align with that principle in your work and be mindful about what you do, that is very Virgo, and you're working with the moon. And this Virgo moon will be active. It's sort of like I take this chart and I say this is like the little dream catcher. It's the little snapshot of the moment in time when this new moon happens, and we'll be carrying that for the next 2 weeks, if not a month. By the time we get to that solar eclipse, that's going to bring in a new energy, but we'll still be active in some of this. And big changes are going to happen, right? So one of the things I'm saying to do is to know what you're committed to, kind of recommit to it, or commit to it for the first time and say, I'm going to do this. And then take those tiny steps, baby steps. Virgo is all about the incremental process. It's not about the quantum leap. You may take a quantum leap at some point because you're doing Virgo type work, right? Because you're putting one foot in front of the other, doing the kind of boring work, setting your timers, working with time in that way, and then all of a sudden you'll get the call, and then you've got to present your big idea or something like that. So, I mean, work will be rewarded. And one of the reasons, I'm jumping ahead here, but I want to talk about, yes, your work will be rewarded. Jupiter is in Cancer right now, and people right around 16 degrees Cancer, and we've got a square, but any interaction with Jupiter is good. So it's square with Mars, which is what we do, the work we put out, what we're working toward. That's Mars, the Mars energy. So you're going to get the reward for what you do, but it may come in disguise. It may come in a very different way than you expect it. So you may not even notice until it's already, oh, that was what I want. Oh, I better call them back. That is actually what I wanted. But it just came in a different way. So be very open to how it might come, how it may look differently. So kind of hold that very loosely, what you want and how you expect it. Okay, because there will be some very fun surprises. There'll be some interesting surprises that happen during this month. Now, an eclipse cycle brings everything up to the surface, right? Anything that needs to be seen will be seen, if not fully in the light, in greater light. So a lot of political scandals and other kinds of scandals come out during eclipse cycles. So hold on to your hats. The news cycle isn't calming down anymore. And I already told you in the last video, there are some things that are not going away that will still be talked about, that because some of the planetary things that were happening kind of locked that in, right? It's like what we were talking about, what we're still talking about, right? So really interesting times that we're living in right now. Uranus is in square. Speaking of squares, those are challenging aspects. Uranus, which is the planet of change and disruption and all that, I started to mention, it's in square to this cozy sun-moon conjunction. So you may be over here getting cozy with your partner, and here comes an argument out of left field. Oh, but it's an argument that maybe will elevate the relationship or show you something that needed to be seen. So for everything, there is a benefit. That's how you got to look at some of the stuff that happens now. I do think there's a leveling of the playing field happening in our political world, but it's going to take a little while. You will see a lot more coming to light during this time, and some of it will not be pretty. I'm just going to let you know that. duh, right? We've been working with these aspects, even though the outer planets Uranus and Pluto and Neptune, they're actually in a really nice interaction right now. So what's happening now is coming to good, even though it doesn't necessarily always look like it. That's something I definitely want to believe, and I will keep holding on to that until until further notice. But it really does look like things are moving in the right direction toward kind of more power to the people, because we have this Aquarian energy, or Aquarian, Gemini, and Aries energy. So people will be doing brave, courageous things. That's the Aries energy of Saturn and Neptune there. And then we've got that we talked about in my last video about the US moon in Aquarius, and it's come on people now, smile on your brother. I think I talked about that with Jill, right? And that's where Pluto is now at 1 degree, and all these major planets have just moved into new signs. And so we're getting a preview of where we're going in the future and what kind of courage is required right now. And you're seeing people stepping up slowly but surely, right? So you're seeing really opportunities for you, for to do new things and to get out of your comfort zone. There will be weather events over the next month. There will be layoffs in jobs. There will be positions changing. There will be restructuring within companies. There'll be opportunities in real estate, investing, and other places, and the opportunity may look like, oh, look, the market's gone down, or the interest rates, or something has shifted there. So there will be shifts in the next month. And so you want to be prepared. That's another aspect of Virgo. And here we are, Sun and Moon, 0 degrees, right? On Friday at 11:07 p.m. Pacific. We've got the 0 degree Sun and Moon in Virgo. And we've got our planet of communications, Mercury. It's in favorable aspect with Mars. It's in Leo. So there will be some real interesting and kind of bold, I would say, communications happening, but they will not necessarily all, but will be for the best. So some people may get their feelings stepped on. That often happens when we've got a lot of interaction in a chart, right? And we're coming up on these eclipses. And we're going to travel through Virgo in this next month to that 29th degree with the Virgo moon Virgo sun and moon at the solar eclipse. So that's, again, our blue moon, right? An actual blue moon is not an astrological phenomenon. That's just 2 full moons in 1 month. This is an astrological kind of blue moon, in that we've got 2 new moons, one of them being a solar eclipse, in the first and last degree of Virgo. And so Virgo lessons will abound. Again, service, work. Virgo is the 6th house ruler. Mercury is the 6th house ruler of Virgo, which is the sign of work. So little tasks, menial tasks, things that you think of as, okay, that's service, or that's below my pay grade. A lot of people in the higher pay grades are going to find themselves doing that lower pay grade work during this time, for whatever reason. Okay, so I would say not to disdain that, to really kind of just put your heart into it and do it as service. Everything you're doing is service and mindfulness right now, and that's the best way to work with Virgo. No matter what you do, it's not so much about what you do; it's how you do it. Do it in a service mindset and mindful way, and with devotion to your bigger why, to your bigger task. Ask yourself. I was just about to talk again about those 5 things that you want to do when during this coming month, right, between now and the 21st of September, when we have that solar eclipse, or excuse me, we have a lunar eclipse coming in 2 weeks. And then and that's going to be a Pisces lunar eclipse. And then we have the 29 degree solar eclipse. And a lot of what you're working for. So one of the first things to say is, what do you want to achieve during this time? Get started on it, particularly if it's a habit of adding something. during the full moon, we subtract. We say, okay, I'm not eating this anymore. I'm going to take this out of my diet. I'm going to stop doing this habit. That's what we say around the full moon. But in the new moon, it's just, well, let's put new foods into the diet. Virgo is also the sign of health. Or let's do, new activities around fitness or work or whatever it may be, right? So having a bigger goal and then taking these little incremental steps toward it with a sense of the bigger purpose or grand vision. I like to call it the grand vision, but purpose is another Virgo word. You purpose with certainty. That comes from the Wallace Wattles book, The Science of Getting Rich, which was the basis of The Secret, the book that The Secret was based on. So you purpose with certainty. You say, this is my purpose, this is what I'm doing, and you do it with deliberateness and certainty. That is Virgo. So you start a project around this time, around the 22nd of August, that you'd like to see coming to completion or at least meeting a milestone around the 29th. Okay, and get prepared. Get prepared. That's another thing. That's like number 2 thing that you want to do around this new moon. Get prepared. Have the supplies that you think you might need. Whatever preparedness means to you. Check your insurances, things like that, because eclipses are famous for floods and maybe fires and other kind of things that happen, right? That come under the domain of insurance. So just all that kind of stuff, all that practical thing that you might not have wanted to deal with it now, I would say, or deal with it shortly, deal with it soon. Yes, ask yourself what you're devoted to, what you want to get done, and then set a cleaning goal as well. So that's another Virgo thing. And you don't have to do this because, again, Virgo is also the sign of delegation. So you can either say, I'm going to set a cleaning and or organizing goal, or I'm going to delegate this cleaning, organizing project to someone else. And there we go. So we're on the way here. Or a health goal, or a health goal, because again, Virgo is all about health. You can make a lot of difference in your health in a month, particularly in a month where there is an eclipse, right? Because big change is coming. Again, we've got that Uranus square, which has to do with the change kind of being visited on us. But if we get into the driver's seat, and particularly if we have that awareness, that knowing where we need to make that change, it's kind of being able to see in our blind spots, meditate, be centered, be grounded as much as you can. Again, Virgo is an earth sign, but it's an earth sign that can kind of get taken off course by what other people want, by that bright, shiny object syndrome. So just know that because it's a mutable sign, right? So the fixed signs are the signs that they're stubborn, they want what they want, they're going to go after it, they don't care if you get in their way. The cardinal signs are initiating signs. They're the signs that start things, may have a harder time finishing, but the Virgo is the mutable sign. It is a good finisher. So if you have strong Virgo energies, you want to make sure that you stick with that project to the finish and you get the support and the help that you need to do that. So anything else I need to say about that? Well, there probably was something, but the chart blew away here. It's very hot, and I have the cooler on, and the chart blew away. So those are the main things I want to talk about. I might write a little bit more either on Patreon. You can join me as a paid or free member. Occasionally I'll share with both. I just shared something about my first impressions about this new moon on Patreon. I have a moon circle coming up on the 22nd for paid Patreon subscribers. So if you want to get in on that, you can join us there. I call it Cheap as Chips Patreon. Oh my gosh. And you know what I'm remembering to say that I never say on these videos? Like and subscribe. I never say that. So I'm actually saying it today. So if you like this video, if you've got something valuable from it, please do subscribe and hit that bell notification. Wow, first time I think I've said that. So happy new moon. Remember, it's a new beginning. Do those practical things and make little baby steps toward the things that you want to create. Do some service work. Get yourself centered. Be deliberate about what you do. Know that this eclipse cycle will bring change. It will bring disruption. You may see your moment somewhere in this as well. If you've been preparing and putting one foot in front of the other, there may be a moment for a little bit of a quantum leap in moving forward. So I hope that for you, and I wish you safety and peace and love. and joy, and happy Virgo full moon. Excuse me, new moon. New moon and happy eclipse cycles. We'll be talking about that a little bit more soon. All right, bye-bye.